Hello. In this demonstration, I will provide an overview of the paper catalog in the TotalFlow Print Server. The paper catalog can be accessed in two different ways. First, if someone is on the Jobs page, they can click on a paper and click the Paper Catalog button that appears on the paper selector. This paper catalog that's displayed allows them to add papers, load papers, edit, duplicate, and delete papers. If an operator selects a paper, they can scroll through the list on the right-hand side to see details about the paper. They do not need to open it in order to see all of those properties. In some cases, papers that are not supported based on the configuration of the printer are highlighted with a red icon. The currently loaded paper in the selected tray is highlighted with the green check. You can select another paper and click Load to load that paper. For the remainder of the demonstration about the paper catalog, I will use the paper catalog in the configuration area. It's the exact same function as the paper catalog launched from the tray selection. On the paper catalog, in the paper configuration area, one thing to point out is there is a filter at the top. This allows users to quickly search or filter the list of papers. It's very helpful when they have a long list of papers in their catalog. Also, in this table, you can sort them however you want, based on the name, tray, size, etc. And, if desired, you can add and remove columns from the paper catalog based on your needs. For example, I will go add time last edited to this, and it will appear as the far right column. Now let's go through an example of adding a new paper to the catalog. I will click the Add Paper button, and the dialog will appear. Our goal in this dialog was to try to put the most common settings right here on this panel and hide other less used settings under the advanced profiles and registration panels. For this sample paper, I would just call it letter orange. When setting the size of a paper, you have a couple of different choices. The drop list shows standard sizes, and you'll notice that some of them are disabled. For example, 11 by 17. To see why something is disabled, you can hover over it and it will show you. In this case, it's because the long edge feed has been set for the paper feed direction. So if I wanted to set 11 by 17, I would set this to short edge feed, and then now you would come back and see 11 by 17 has been enabled. In addition to the standard sizes, you can also create a one-time custom paper size. Let's say I wanted a 10 by 10 inch. I could do that. This would be associated with this letter orange paper. The size would not be reusable. If, however, I wanted to make a custom paper size that was reusable for other papers, I could click this icon and come in here and add one and call that 10 by 10, put in 10 inches and a height of 10 inches and press OK. Now this 10 by 10 paper size will be listed in this drop list, and anyone adding a paper will see that as a size that they can select. Moving down through the next list, we have a standard list of weights. We also have paper types. These are a standard list, or if someone wants, they can type in a custom type. There is an optional thickness. You can uncheck that if you do not want to use that. There's a standard list of colors, or if desired, someone can type in their own custom color. Coded attributes, auto paper select. Auto paper select means that if it is set to no, the paper will only be selected based on the name of the paper. If it's select to yes, jobs that come in and are looking for a paper with the same attributes of this paper will automatically select this paper. Pre-punched, texture, description, feed direction, and side to allowed. Moving on to the next tab, the Advanced tab. This is where we list some of the edge and side sensitivity settings, as well as the ability to select the calibration you want to use for this paper. Next is profiles. You can select a printer profile for the front side and the back side. And if desired, you can specify the profile to be used for different object types like image, text, line art, and smooth shades. If you select a different profile for a specific object, the front side will be listed as mixed. And then on the last tab is the basic and advanced registration. You can do basic registration by specifying the paper feed direction, the shift in paper feed direction, as well as settings across the paper feed direction. And then in the advanced, we provide more sophisticated settings for paper registration values. You can now see this new paper that I defined listed in the paper catalog list. And if I return back to the jobs page and click on a tray, I can now scroll through and select that new letter orange paper that I defined. Taking this a step forward, let's take a look at how you select paper for a job. I'm going to double click on this job and it will launch the job ticket editor. On the main screen, as we discussed in a previous video, are the most commonly used settings. I can click this paper drop list and I can see a list of the loaded papers. The star means that letter long edge feed is loaded in more than one tray. I could select from this list of papers, or I could scroll down and pick from the list of papers in the catalog. I'll select the letter orange paper and you'll see that the preview is updated. I'm going to change that back to a letter long edge feed for a second. If a customer wants to pull a paper from a specific tray, there's two ways they can do that. They can click this drop list and click manual paper and select the tray that they want. Say, for example, tray 3. In this case, it will now pull the job from tray 3. We list letter LEF as informational only. It is going to pull whatever paper is associated with tray 3. It's going to look for these attributes. If somebody has a paper assigned like letter LEF and wants to pull from a specific tray with different attributes, they could also go to the paper tab on the left side, select a tray. When they do that, the paper is going to change from the paper catalog tray to a manual paper. This will ensure that tray 3 will be called for this paper. If the catalog paper was left in this entry in here, we could not guarantee that you would get tray 3. If an operator changes this back to a different paper, this will set the auto tray select for the input tray. On this page, users can use the settings to define the exact tray and the attributes that they want for that paper. They can either use the catalog papers or the input tray as desired. I hope this has provided a useful demonstration of the paper catalog as well as how operators select paper in the TotalFlow Print Server.